At the beginning of this year, January 5th, 2013, I lost a friend to gang violence. Reggie White Jr., an innocent victim who was at the wrong place at the wrong time. Now I'm telling you he was at the wrong place, but actually he was at his grandma's house watching a football game. His grandma just happened to live in gang territory. A few members of a rival gang happened to be circling around the block and noticed Reggie and his two friends standing in the driveway of his grandparents' garage. Assuming that they belonged to the neighborhood gang, they drove by and opened fire. Reggie was shot through his back and killed almost instantly in front of his two friends, his uncle, his dad, and his grandma, who were all in the garage. There are many people, including innocent victims such as my friend, who have lost their lives due to gang violence. Gangs and gang violence are a huge issue among society today. Now personally, I have been involved with gangs. No, I'm not a part of a gang, but I do have both family and friends who are or have been a part of a gang. Today, I'm going to talk to you about a little background knowledge on gangs, why people join gangs, and some of the violence and crimes that are associated with gangs. First off, what are gangs? Gangs are usually considered an organized group of criminals. According to the National Gang Center, the first structured gangs were documented in the late 1700s on the East Coast. Now, these gangs were nothing like the gangs that me and you visualize today. Even the gangs that were later formed in the 1900s in New York City were nothing like the gangs today. They were more like mobsters. Now, the West Coast, as many of you may know, is and has always been notorious when it comes to gangs, especially when it comes to gangs such as the Bloods and Crips, the most popular and two largest gangs. The Crip gang was started in 1971 by Stanley Tookie Williams as a protection unit for the neighborhood. It was created to protect local black people from racism, corruption, and brutality among police and other citizens. Soon after the Crip gang was created, the Blood gang was created as a reaction to the Crip gang. Soon after the Blood gang was created, the two started to feud, but it was more of a pride and who's better type of thing. As time went on, both of these two gangs grew and so did their problems. Now today they are spread all across the United States along with many different gangs. According to the FBI, there are more than 33,000 different type of gangs and over 1.4 million gang members on the streets criminally active today. California just happens to be at the top of the list. Stanford University reported that the Department of Justice estimates that 175 to 200,000 gang members reside in California. Over 50,000 of these gang members reside in Los Angeles alone, and this doesn't even include the members in prison. So now that we learned a little of the background knowledge, I will discuss the reasons why people join gangs. So people join gangs for many different reasons. Main reason being that a gang gives somebody a sense of friendship or family that they may not have at home. It makes them feel loved, wanted, and gives them sort of protection. In some situations, it just happens to be where somebody grew up, maybe where they went to school, they weren't able to get away from gangs. In other situations, family members were gang members, so they were raised into it. Some people may feel as a success in a gang while at home or at school, they feel themselves as a failure. Now these are some of the main reasons why people join gangs, but they're not all of the factors of gang involvement. So now that I've talked to you about why people join gangs, let's learn what gangs do. Many and most gangs do commit violent crimes. A lot of these crimes associated with gangs are robberies, grand theft autos, shootings, killings, and assaults. In the article, East Harlem Gangs Rounded Up, anonymous gang members speak on how a lot of gangs nowadays are big on drug trafficking. That is where a lot of these gangs are getting their money. Now that we have an overview on gangs and knowledge, in conclusion, gangs and their violence are a huge issue in society today. I've talked to you about the background of gangs, why people join, and the crimes that they commit. Because of gangs, I've lost a good friend. Many people like him are losing their lives due to the ignorance of others, and this needs to be stopped. Thank you.